Marrakech overwhelms almost everyone who visits it for the first time. Within minutes of entering the old city, quiet streets give way to a maze of narrow alleyways where scooters weave through crowds. Merchants call out from every direction. The scent of spices drifts through the air, and centuries of history seem to exist alongside everyday life. It is a city that demands your attention from the very first moment and rarely lets it go. For many people around the world, Marrakech has become the face of Morocco. Its red walls, bustling markets, hidden courtyards, rooftop terraces, and vibrant public squares have appeared in countless documentaries, films, travel magazines, and social media posts, turning it into one of Africa's most recognizable destinations. Every year, millions of travelers arrive hoping to experience the atmosphere they have seen in photographs, only to discover that the real city is far more complex than any image can capture. Marrakech has a way of surprising people because every visit feels different. A traveler searching for history finds centuries-old palaces and monuments hidden behind massive walls. Someone interested in local culture discovers workshops where craftsmen continue using techniques passed down through generations. Food lovers are introduced to flavors that have shaped Moroccan cuisine for centuries, while photographers quickly realize that almost every street changes its character as the sunlight moves across the city's distinctive red buildings. Much of this experience comes from the fact that Marrakech has never become a city built solely around tourism. Millions of visitors arrive every year, yet behind the famous landmarks lies a place where daily life continues much as it always has. Local families shop in the same markets. Artisans work in small workshops that have existed for decades, and many neighborhoods still revolve around traditions that long predate modern travel. The city's appearance tells only part of its story. Behind simple wooden doors are elegant riads filled with colorful tiles, quiet gardens, and peaceful courtyards that remain completely hidden from the busy streets outside. Just a few steps separate crowded markets from tranquil rooftops overlooking the old city, creating constant contrasts between movement and stillness, noise and silence, public spaces and private life. These unexpected transitions are part of what makes Marrakech feel so distinctive. Its reputation also extends far beyond Morocco. For centuries, Marrakech has been a meeting point between North Africa, the Sahara, and the wider Mediterranean world. Traders, craftsmen, scholars, and travelers all helped shape the city's identity, creating a place where cultures blended naturally over generations. That influence remains visible today in its architecture, traditions, cuisine, and the remarkable diversity of people who continue to pass through its streets. Modern Marrakech embraces both its past and its future. Luxury hotels stand alongside centuries-old neighborhoods. Contemporary art galleries share the city with traditional workshops, and international visitors fill cafes that overlook streets little changed from hundreds of years ago. Rather than replacing its history, the city has gradually adapted to a changing world while preserving much of the character that first made it famous. Understanding Marrakech means looking beyond its postcard images. Its markets are more than shopping destinations. Its architecture reflects centuries of cultural traditions, and its streets reveal a way of life that continues to evolve without losing its identity. To understand why this city has fascinated travelers for generations, we first need to understand how it became one of the most important cultural centers in Morocco and why its influence continues to reach far beyond its ancient walls. Marrakech was founded in 1070 by the Almoravids, a Berber dynasty that was building one of the most powerful states in North Africa. They chose this location because it stood at the crossroads of important trade routes that connected the Mediterranean with the vast Sahara Desert and the kingdoms farther south. What began as a strategic settlement quickly developed into a thriving city where merchants, craftsmen, scholars, and travelers gathered from across the region. Trade shaped Marrakech from the very beginning. Long caravans crossed the Sahara carrying gold, salt, ivory, leather, spices, and textiles, turning the city into one of the most important commercial centers in medieval North Africa. These routes brought much more than valuable goods. They introduced new ideas, architectural styles, artistic traditions, languages, and religious influences that gradually transformed Marrakech into one of the region's leading cultural capitals. Over the centuries, Different dynasties ruled Morocco, and many chose Marrakech as their political and administrative center. Each left its mark on the city by expanding its walls, building mosques, palaces, gardens, and public spaces that reflected the artistic traditions of their time. Rather than replacing what had already been built, new rulers often added to the existing city, allowing Marrakech to grow layer by layer while preserving much of its original character. One feature that immediately distinguished Marrakech from other cities was the color of its buildings. Local builders relied on clay and red sandstone found in the surrounding region, giving walls, homes, palaces, and fortifications their unmistakable reddish appearance. As sunlight changes throughout the day, these colors shift from soft orange to deep terracotta, creating the visual identity that eventually earned Marrakech its famous nickname, the Red City. Even today, strict building regulations help preserve this distinctive appearance, ensuring that modern construction blends naturally with the historic landscape. Although Morocco's political capital eventually moved elsewhere, Marrakech never lost its importance. It remained a center of commerce, religion, craftsmanship, and learning, attracting people from across Morocco and beyond. Markets continued to flourish. Workshops passed traditional skills from one generation to the next, and the city's reputation spread far beyond North Africa through merchants and travelers who carried stories of Marrakech back to Europe, the Middle East, and Sub-Saharan Africa. The 20th century introduced another major chapter in the city's development. During the French Protectorate, modern neighborhoods were built outside the ancient walls, bringing wider streets, new architecture, public gardens, and European-style urban planning. Instead of replacing the historic city, this expansion created two very different sides of Marrakech. Inside the old walls, the medieval Medina preserved its original layout and traditional way of life, while outside, modern districts reflected a rapidly changing Morocco. This contrast remains one of the defining characteristics of the city today. As international tourism expanded during the second half of the 20th century, Marrakech attracted artists, designers, filmmakers, writers, and travelers from around the world. Historic riads were carefully restored, old palaces became museums and cultural spaces, and the city's unique atmosphere turned it into one of Africa's most visited destinations. Despite this global attention, Marrakech has managed to retain much of the identity that made it important nearly 1,000 years ago. That identity is perhaps most visible inside the Medina, where the city's history is still woven into everyday life. Behind its ancient walls, narrow streets continue to follow routes established centuries ago. Traditional workshops remain active, and local markets still serve both residents and visitors. While much of the world has transformed around it, the Medina continues to preserve the rhythm that has defined Marrakech for generations, making it one of the most remarkable historic urban centers anywhere in the world. Every city has a place that defines its identity, and in Marrakech that place is the Medina. Surrounded by ancient walls stretching for nearly 20 kilometers, this historic district has remained the heart of the city for centuries. While modern neighborhoods continue to expand beyond its gates, the Medina still preserves a way of life that has changed remarkably little, making it one of the largest and best-preserved historic city centers in the Arab world. Walking through the Medina feels very different from exploring most modern cities. There is no orderly street grid, no wide boulevards, and often no clear sense of direction. Instead, thousands of narrow alleyways twist between homes, workshops, markets, and small squares, creating a maze that has developed gradually over hundreds of years. Even people who have visited Marrakech several times admit that getting lost is almost unavoidable, but that uncertainty is also part of the experience. Every wrong turn has the potential to reveal a hidden courtyard, a tiny bakery, a centuries-old fountain, or a workshop where craftsmen continue to produce goods by hand. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Medina is that much of its beauty remains hidden from view. Traditional Moroccan homes, known as riads, were designed to protect privacy from the busy streets outside. Their exterior walls are usually plain, with simple wooden doors that reveal almost nothing about what lies behind them. Once inside, the atmosphere changes completely. Quiet courtyards filled with trees, colorful mosaics, carved plaster, wooden ceilings, fountains, and open-air gardens create peaceful spaces that seem entirely disconnected from the noise outside. Today, many of these historic homes have been restored as boutique hotels, allowing visitors to experience one of Morocco's most distinctive architectural traditions. The Medina is also home to Marrakech's famous souks, an enormous network of traditional markets where commerce has remained the center of daily life for generations. Rather than forming one large marketplace, the souks are divided into countless smaller sections, each traditionally associated with a particular craft or profession. One street may specialize in leather goods, another in carpets, another in ceramics, metalwork, spices, lanterns, jewelry, textiles, or handcrafted furniture. Although tourism has become an important part of business, many local residents still come here to shop, work, and meet with friends, giving the markets an authenticity that extends far beyond their popularity with visitors. Craftsmanship continues to play an essential role throughout the Medina. Skilled artisans shape clay into pottery, carve cedar wood into intricate patterns, weave colorful rugs by hand, and work with brass, copper, and leather using techniques passed down through generations. In many workshops, production remains largely manual, preserving traditions that have survived despite industrial manufacturing and changing consumer habits. Buying a handmade object in Marrakech often means purchasing something created only a few steps away from where it is sold. At the center of the Medina lies Jemaa el-Fnaa, the city's most famous public square and one of the defining symbols of Morocco itself. Throughout the day, the square constantly changes as fruit vendors, market stalls, musicians, and performers fill the open space. As evening approaches, it transforms once again into an enormous open-air gathering place where food stalls, storytellers, entertainers, and local families create an atmosphere unlike anywhere else in the country. For centuries, this square has served as the social heart of Marrakech, bringing together commerce, entertainment, and community life in a way that continues to define the city's identity. The importance of the Medina extends far beyond its architecture or its markets. In 1985, it was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its extraordinary historical and cultural value. Unlike many preserved historic districts around the world, however, the Medina is not an open-air museum. More than 100,000 people continue to live within its walls, raising families, operating businesses, attending schools, and maintaining traditions that have shaped Marrakech for centuries. This combination of living history and everyday life is what makes the Medina so remarkable. Visitors are not walking through carefully reconstructed streets designed to represent the past. They are entering a neighborhood where history continues to exist as part of ordinary daily routines. That living heritage forms the foundation of Marrakech's identity and provides the perfect introduction to the traditions, customs, and culture that continue to define the city today. Marrakech is often remembered for its architecture and colorful markets, but the city's strongest identity comes from the traditions that continue to shape everyday life. While millions of visitors arrive each year, daily routines are still guided by customs that have been preserved for generations, creating an atmosphere that feels noticeably different from most major tourist destinations. One of the first things many visitors notice is the influence of Islam on the rhythm of the city. 5 times a day, the call to prayer echoes across rooftops from the mosques, briefly changing the pace of daily life. Shops may pause for a few minutes, conversations become quieter, and many residents make their way to prayer. Even for travelers who are not religious, these moments offer a glimpse into how deeply faith remains connected to everyday life in Morocco. Marrakech is also one of the best places to experience the country's Berber heritage. The Berbers, or Amazigh people, are the indigenous inhabitants of North Africa, and their traditions remain deeply woven into Moroccan culture. Their influence can be seen in traditional carpets, jewelry, architecture, music, clothing, and even the geometric patterns that decorate homes and public buildings throughout the city. Many families living in Marrakech still have Amazigh roots, and elements of their culture continue to be passed from one generation to the next. Hospitality is another tradition that plays an important role in Moroccan society. Guests are treated with great respect, and sharing food or tea is considered a natural expression of welcome. Mint tea has become one of the country's most recognizable symbols, prepared with fresh mint leaves and generous amounts of sugar before being poured from a height into small glasses. The ritual is as important as the drink itself, reflecting a culture where conversation and hospitality are valued as much as the meal that accompanies them. Food occupies a central place in everyday life, and Marrakech offers one of the best introductions to Moroccan cuisine. Traditional dishes such as tagine, couscous, harira soup, pastilla, grilled meats, and freshly baked bread combine influences from Arab, Berber, Mediterranean, and African cooking traditions. The extensive use of spices often surprises first-time visitors, although Moroccan food is generally known more for its rich aromas than for extreme heat. Ingredients such as saffron, cumin, cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, preserved lemons, olives, almonds, and dried fruits create flavors that have become closely associated with the country. Craftsmanship remains another defining feature of Marrakech. While many cities have replaced handmade production with factories, thousands of artisans here still work in small family-owned workshops using methods that have changed very little over time. Leather goods, woven rugs, carved wood, hand-painted ceramics, brass lanterns, and traditional textiles continue to be produced by skilled craftsmen whose knowledge has often been passed through several generations. These workshops are not demonstrations created for tourists, but functioning businesses that remain an important part of the local economy. Daily life in Marrakech also reflects a stronger sense of community than many visitors are accustomed to. Local markets are places where neighbors meet, families often gather for meals, and many small businesses have been operated by the same families for decades. Even in one of Africa's busiest tourist cities, personal relationships continue to play an important role in both business and everyday life. This strong connection to tradition explains why Marrakech has managed to preserve its unique character despite decades of rapid tourism growth. Modern hotels, luxury restaurants, and international brands have become part of the city's landscape, but they exist alongside customs that continue to shape ordinary life for local residents. Rather than replacing tradition, modern Marrakech has learned to grow around it, allowing visitors to experience a city where history remains visible not only in its buildings, but also in the habits, values, and routines of the people who call it home. For travelers, understanding these traditions often changes the entire experience of visiting Marrakech. The city becomes much easier to appreciate when its customs are viewed not as tourist attractions, but as expressions of a living culture that continues to define one of Morocco's most remarkable destinations. Before exploring its markets and neighborhoods, however, there are several practical things every visitor should know to make the experience both smoother and more rewarding. Marrakech is one of the easiest cities in Morocco to visit, but it is also one of the few places where understanding local customs can make a noticeable difference to the entire experience. Many of the situations that surprise first-time visitors are completely normal for local residents, and approaching the city with realistic expectations helps avoid unnecessary frustration. One of the first things travelers encounter is bargaining. Unlike supermarkets or shopping malls, many traditional shops in the Medina do not display fixed prices, especially when selling handmade goods, carpets, leather products, ceramics, or jewelry. Negotiation has long been part of commercial life in Morocco, and most sellers expect it to happen. The first price is often only the beginning of the conversation, and respectful bargaining is generally accepted by both sides. Remaining polite, taking your time, and being prepared to walk away if the price feels unreasonable usually leads to a much better outcome than trying to negotiate aggressively. Finding your way through the Medina can also be more challenging than many visitors expect. The historic center developed over centuries without modern city planning, leaving behind thousands of narrow streets that often look remarkably similar. GPS is useful but not always reliable, especially in the smallest alleyways where signals can become inconsistent. Getting lost is almost part of the experience, although it is worth remembering that some people may offer unsolicited directions before asking for payment. If you genuinely need help, hotel staff, official guides, or shop owners are generally the most reliable people to ask. Photography is another area where visitors should exercise a little sensitivity. Marrakech is incredibly photogenic, but not everyone wants to become part of someone else's travel album. Street performers, musicians, snake charmers, and people working with animals often expect payment if they are photographed, while many local residents simply prefer not to have their picture taken at all. Asking permission before taking close-up photographs is both respectful and appreciated. Clothing is another topic that often raises questions. Marrakech is accustomed to international tourism, and visitors are not expected to dress exactly like local residents. At the same time, Morocco remains a relatively conservative country, particularly in traditional neighborhoods. Clothing that covers the shoulders and knees is generally considered appropriate and also provides practical protection from the strong sun, especially during the hottest months of the year. Food is one of the highlights of any visit, and street stalls are an important part of the city's atmosphere. Choosing busy vendors where local residents also eat is often a good sign of both freshness and quality. Fresh orange juice, grilled meats, traditional taginess, pastries, mint tea, and local breads are among the experiences many travelers remember long after returning home. Visitors who are not accustomed to North African cuisine may find it sensible to introduce new dishes gradually while staying hydrated, particularly during the warmer months. Although Marrakech is considered one of Morocco's safest destinations for tourists, it shares many of the challenges found in other major international cities. Pickpocketing can occur in crowded areas, and some visitors encounter overly persistent street vendors or unofficial guides. Simple precautions, such as keeping valuables secure, avoiding large amounts of cash, and confidently declining unwanted offers, are usually enough to prevent most common problems. Timing also has a significant impact on the overall experience. Summers in Marrakech are extremely hot, with daytime temperatures regularly exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, making long walks through the Medina physically demanding. Spring and autumn offer much more comfortable conditions for exploring the city, while winter often brings pleasant daytime temperatures and cooler evenings that many travelers find ideal for sightseeing. Perhaps the most valuable advice for anyone visiting Marrakech is to resist the temptation to rush. The city reveals itself gradually, and some of its most memorable moments are often unplanned. Sitting in a quiet courtyard with a glass of mint tea, watching the sunset from a rooftop terrace, or simply wandering through the Medina without a strict itinerary often leaves a stronger impression than trying to visit every famous landmark in a single day. Approaching Marrakech with patience, curiosity, and respect allows the city to unfold naturally. Once visitors adjust to its rhythm, they often begin to notice the details that make it so memorable, from the craftsmanship hidden inside small workshops to the conversations taking place over tea and the changing colors of the ancient walls as daylight fades. Those experiences explain why so many travelers return to Marrakech more than once and why. Over the past few decades, Marrakech has transformed from a historic Moroccan city into one of the world's most recognizable travel destinations. Millions of visitors arrive every year, drawn by its unique combination of history, culture, architecture, and atmosphere. Yet despite its global popularity, the city has managed to avoid becoming a place that exists only for tourists. Daily life continues behind the ancient walls, traditional workshops remain active, and many neighborhoods still feel remarkably authentic. Tourism has undoubtedly changed Marrakech. Hundreds of historic riads have been carefully restored and converted into boutique hotels, offering visitors the opportunity to stay inside buildings that were once private family homes. Luxury resorts now stand alongside centuries-old neighborhoods, while rooftop restaurants, stylish cafes, and contemporary art galleries have introduced a new side of the city without completely replacing its traditional character. Beyond the historic Medina lies Gelais, the modern district developed during the French Protectorate in the early 20th century. Wide avenues, contemporary architecture, international brands, and fashionable restaurants create a striking contrast with the narrow streets of the old city. Many visitors are surprised to discover this side of Marrakech because it challenges the common image of Morocco as a country defined entirely by ancient markets and historic architecture. Instead, Marrakech presents two very different worlds existing side by side, each contributing to the city's unique identity. The city's creative energy has also attracted artists, designers, photographers, filmmakers, and architects from around the world. Marrakech has become a source of inspiration for fashion collections, interior design, photography, and cinema, thanks to its distinctive colors, traditional craftsmanship, and extraordinary light. The famous Majorelle Garden, once restored by fashion designer Yves Saint Laurent, remains one of the most visited places in the city and reflects Marrakech's long-standing relationship with art and design. Its location also makes Marrakech one of Morocco's most important travel hubs. Within a few hours, visitors can leave the busy streets behind and find themselves hiking through the Atlas Mountains, exploring Amazigh villages, riding across desert landscapes, or walking along the Atlantic coast. Few destinations offer such easy access to dramatically different landscapes, allowing travelers to experience several sides of Morocco during a single journey. Despite welcoming millions of international visitors every year, Marrakech has never lost the atmosphere that first made it famous. The city's identity still comes from its people, its traditions, its craftsmanship, and the rhythm of everyday life that continues within the Medina. Tourism has introduced new opportunities and transformed parts of the city, but it has not erased the character that developed over nearly 1,000 years. Perhaps that is why Marrakech leaves such a lasting impression. Some travelers remember the colors of its walls, others the sounds of Jemaa el-Fnaa after sunset, the scent of spices drifting through the markets, or the quiet courtyards hidden behind anonymous doors. Every visitor takes away a different memory because Marrakech offers countless ways to experience it, and no two journeys ever feel exactly the same. That ability to surprise people again and again explains why Marrakech has become far more than Morocco's most famous city. It has become a symbol of the country itself, representing the meeting point of history and modern life, African and Arab traditions, commerce and craftsmanship, movement and stillness. Long after the journey ends, it is often these contrasts that remain in people's memories, making Marrakech one of those rare places that continues to call travelers back long after they have left its red walls behind. There are many cities that impress visitors with famous landmarks, beautiful architecture, or impressive skylines. Marrakech earns its reputation in a different way. It stays in people's memories because of the way it feels. Long after the details of a trip begin to fade, many travelers still remember the sound of footsteps echoing through the Medina, the call to prayer drifting across the rooftops, the scent of spices in the markets, and the warm glow of the city's red walls as the sun begins to set. Few places manage to preserve such a strong sense of identity while welcoming millions of international visitors every year. Marrakech has embraced tourism, restored historic buildings, opened luxury hotels, and become one of Africa's most photographed cities. Yet beneath those changes remains the same cultural foundation that shaped it for centuries. The traditions, craftsmanship, architecture, and rhythm of everyday life continue to define the city far more than the modern attractions built around them. That balance between past and present is one of Marrakech's greatest strengths. Visitors can spend the morning wandering through streets that have existed for hundreds of years, enjoy lunch in a contemporary restaurant, relax in a beautifully restored riad, and finish the evening watching life unfold in Jemaa el-Fnaa, just as generations have done before them. Very few cities allow history and modern life to exist so naturally alongside one another. Marrakech also serves as a reminder that understanding a place requires more than visiting its most famous landmarks. Its character is found in small workshops where artisans continue to practice traditional crafts, in quiet courtyards hidden behind ordinary doors, in conversations shared over glasses of mint tea, and in the daily routines of people who have called this city home for generations. These moments often leave a deeper impression than any monument because they reveal the culture that continues to give Marrakech its unique identity. For anyone planning to visit Morocco, Marrakech offers an unforgettable introduction to the country's history, traditions, and everyday life. It is a city that rewards curiosity, patience, and a willingness to experience something different from the familiar rhythm of modern urban life. Those who arrive expecting only colorful markets and historic buildings usually leave with a far richer understanding of the culture that has shaped this remarkable place. Perhaps that is why Marrakech continues to captivate travelers from every corner of the world. It is a city that refuses to be reduced to a single image or a single story. Every street, every neighborhood, and every visit reveals another layer of its identity. ensuring that no two experiences are ever exactly alike. That enduring sense of discovery has made Marrakech one of the world's truly unforgettable cities, and it is likely to remain that way for generations to come.